Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Trials to Triumph. I'm Pastor Brad Closter from the Rock Church in Bel Air, Michigan. Thank you for being a part of what we're doing here, and may it be a blessing to you. We are excited to bring these to you because we believe that no matter what trial you're going through, with a few simple corrections, course corrections, that this can be turned into a triumph in your life. And so I'm believing with you that no matter what it is, no matter what the trial, that God's going to show up in your life and do something great for you. Hey, we have been talking about the commands of Jesus, and we're just going in sequence through the Gospels, which means most of these are coming from the book of Matthew, and we're finding out what are the direct commands that Jesus gave us through his word and through his teachings with his disciples and with the multitudes and all of that. So we are going to get right into it today because this one is a little bit difficult. And I'm also going to do a little reading here. So we're in Matthew chapter 5. You notice we've been camped out in Matthew chapter 5 for the last few weeks. And I'm going to start reading in verse 21. But you have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not murder, and whoever murders will be in danger of judgment. But I say to you that whoever is angry with his brother without cause shall be in danger of judgment. And whoever says to his brother, Raka, now that's a word we don't use every day, but it'd be similar to like calling somebody stupid, honestly. Whoever says that shall be in danger of the council, but whoever says, you fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. Therefore, if you bring your gift to the altar, and there remember your brother has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar, and go your way. First, be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift. Here's the command of Jesus. Be reconciled. This is the command of Jesus, and I know this is tough to swallow because it even says here, if you're going to the altar, if you're going to give your gift, if you're going to be given an offering, a sacrifice, whatever, you're going to the altar to do that, then and you know that your brother has something against you, not even you having something against them. If your brother has something against you, you go to them and you make it right. And that is difficult. Being reconciled is a difficult thing to do because our pride doesn't want to be reconciled. Our human nature doesn't want to be reconciled. Our pride and our human nature wants to hold a grudge. It wants to get mad. It wants to get even. It wants to talk back. It wants to one-up the next person. It wants all of these things, none of which has anything to do with the goodness of God. So it's very important that we understand this one because this is a difficult thing for us to swallow. And if you're wondering, how could I ever possibly be reconciled to that guy? Like, don't you understand what he did to me? Don't you understand how bad of a guy he is? I want you to pause and I want you to think of 2 Corinthians chapter 5 that talks about the fact that God was willing to be reconciled to you. And that is pretty severe. If the God of heaven is willing to be reconciled to you, then what right do you have to not be reconciled with who the Bible says here is your brother? And if you want to define who your brother is, then we can talk about the Good Samaritan. We can go a little deeper into that. But the point is that we have been reconciled to God, and therefore we have no foot to stand on to try to say that we shouldn't be reconciled to those in our life who we might have an issue with. That doesn't mean you have to be everybody's best friend. That doesn't mean you just have to go to lunch with them and, no. You can be reconciled to someone. You can forgive someone and they can forgive you. And you never have to act like your best buddies again. But at least you have done your work of becoming reconciled. Now, maybe that will grow into something that will be a relationship for the future. But maybe not. And if not, that's okay. Jesus is not saying you have to be best friends with everybody. He's just saying we have to be reconciled to people that have done us wrong. And we have to be reconciled when we have done other people wrong. You know, it's amazing to me. No one has ever come to me in my entire life and ministry and said, I'm guilty, they're innocent, help me reconcile. That has never happened. But 100% of the time, it is, I am innocent, they are guilty, I don't want to reconcile. Or maybe if they do want to reconcile, they say, can you help me reconcile? Whatever. But no one ever comes and says, I'm guilty, I did them wrong, help me. Most of the time, it's, they're guilty, I'm innocent, come help me. And my advice to you would be to observe the plank in your own eye before you're willing to get the speck out of your brother's eye. And you're going to recognize that because that's also the words of Jesus. And so my advice to you is to do anything in your power. If you know that you have wronged someone, to go to them and fix it. And I love when it says if you're going to the altar to give your gift, if you're part of our church and we go to the altar to give our offerings, we go to the altar to worship. Before you go to the altar and act like you're worshiping through your giving or through your worship, why don't you go and make it right with that brother or sister that it needs to be healed? Be reconciled. Do your part to make things right. You don't have to do your part to become best friends, but you do need to do your part to make things right and to allow forgiveness to be that healing balm that it was designed to be, so you or that other person don't live in torment the rest of the days of your life. Hey, this was a tough one to swallow tonight, I know, but this is something we all need to practice. Be reconciled. It's a commandment of Jesus. Hey, thanks for joining me tonight. We'll see you again next time on Trials to Triumph.